Well, hey friends, what's good? Welcome to Storytime, Outdoors Edition. It's so beautiful. It's actually really, really hot and very smoky. We've got a fire coming in from, I don't know, north, south, east, and west. It's just been smoke, 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 smoke. So, how are you guys doing today? I am feeling great, and I just thought I would do a little story time outside and enjoy my extremely piping hot cup of coffee, as I always do. So, my name is Shannon, and I tell stories. And if you're new here, they're random. They're usually stories about nostalgia or my life, because it's the only life I've ever lived is my own. And yeah, today I'm going to sort of touch on a story for the first time in a long time. And I was thinking about it on my walk today about the toys we used to play with as kids back in the 70s and the 80s. And there's some funny stuff that goes along with having these crazy toys that we used to play with. So I don't know about you guys, but I had a brother. So we had Hot Wheels. We had the tracks going around the whole house. We had so many things that were fun to play with when I think about it now. And I think about the fact that you used to be able to buy like a multi pack in a great huge box and it contained everything you needed. So sometimes you'd get a train set or you'd get, some sort of building thing like what are those things called where you screw them together? They're like metal. Anyway, those kinds of toys. I can't remember all the names, but I do remember this one toy that we had that I had, and it was back. I must have been about 5 years old, 5 or 6, or was I that young? It was a Barbie, and it had its own bicycle, and you put the Barbie on the bicycle. And she would pedal around, and she was balanced on the bike, and she could go around the house on her little bicycle. Maybe I was about 10. I'm not sure. But this thing was so fun and so funny because you do this Barbie just going down the hall on her own, and that's the kind of fun stuff we got to play with back then. But I have this story. So when my kids were little, I always loved to make sure that they could play with very simple toys. So we had blocks, we had the traditional Legos and different building blocks. We had wooden blocks, we had Lincoln Logs, I believe. We tried to have a lot of fun toys that we grew up with. And the ones that everybody remembers is the Fisher Price stuff, where you'd get the phone, the little rotary phone with the eyeballs, and you'd pick it up and you could talk to whoever. And we would have the Fisher Price, for myself growing up, the Fisher Price record player, where you'd put the plastic record on there and you could store them on the side. They had this little storage spot, and you could listen to like clink, 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 clink. It was just horrible, but it was kind of fun when you think about it. So I think it was about Kelsey must have been about 2.5 or 3 years old. And no, because I think Nicholas was born as well, so he'd be about 4. And they were little, but we had got the popper lawnmower vacuum cleaner, whatever that thing is with the circular dome and then the little balls that pop and make noise. They just go, and insane amounts of noise were constantly being made in the house. And I think we also had a regular lawnmower that looked like a little plastic lawnmower, and it made lawnmower sounds and stuff. So the kids one day, I guess we were at the neighbor's house, and they had a few kids, and there was a lot of noise going on and there was a lot of fun happening. So like the adults were drinking and we having a good time. I think it was a birthday party, and all of a sudden one of the kids pulled out this popper thingamajigger lawnmower machine bubble thing. And if you remember what I'm talking about, the amount of noise that comes out of those things when you're going down on a wooden floor or whatever, it's just insane. And as a parent, you don't want to hear that longer than about, I don't know, 30 seconds because it's so loud. But I remember my neighbor being so fed up with hearing this ball popping toy thing up and down on his deck during the party that he picked this thing up and in front of all the kids he threw it off the deck and down the mountain. That thing went flying. And I was thinking, oh, and we had crying kids, and it was just so sad. It was so terrible. But I was just thinking about this on my walk today, that the amount of cool toys we had growing up. And I don't know about you guys, but I remember a time in my life when there was a train set up on a table. I think maybe a pool table or a ping pong table, something like that, where we'd set up a train station or a train set, and that was a big deal back in the 70s and 80s. Was seeing the trains going by, like you'd go by a store and you'd see the trains in there with every little real life looking building and little people and trees, and that stuff was so amazing. And it's more than just Christmas stuff. You'd see that all the time at hobby shops and different places like that. So, but I don't know what kids are even playing with nowadays. Ooh, that sun's getting bright. I don't know what kids are playing with nowadays, but I'm pretty sure it's like iPads and computer related stuff, which really sucks. We got to bring back like toys, playing with toys. I'm sure the young kids still play with cool toys. I don't think we need to put iPads and computers and phones in front of our kids really young. Let them be young for a long time. I know one of our little neighbors. She has what do you call like a battery powered Jeep that her and her brother now sit in together. So he's not, he's like just over one and she's about 4 or 5, and she just rips and she goes so fast. I watch her brother in the passenger seat and he's just but she's already, she's going to need a Harley. I keep saying she's going to be on a Harley by the time she's, 19 years old. But anyway, I didn't want to make this long. I was just outside kind of hanging out, and I thought, hey, maybe I'll do a video out here today. But I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I think it's Tuesday. And yeah, I'll get back to doing regular stories. Like I said, maybe September. It's been so hot here. It's been really miserable. I actually just came out because inside the house was just gross. So, and it's way beautiful out here. There's a little bit of wind. But I hope you guys have a great week, and God bless you, and take care, okay? See you later.